Hello and welcome to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. We have another card for you guys. It is going to be another interesting one. Let me pull it up here. It's UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Sakai. And we got two heavyweights going at it. And they both made weight, so it's going to be official. It's an official fight. I think everybody pretty much made weight on this card. And there's a lot of unknowns, or a lot of people that I'm not aware of. I've never seen them fight before, but I do want to go over and talk a little bit about it because I think it's just another great card this weekend. It's an unknown card, but you know, the last couple of them have been sleepers. The last card, the prelims were the super exciting fights, and the main card was okay. You know, it was all right. But this one, I have no clue because a lot of them are really new for me. All right. But we're going to go over them anyway and talk a little bit about the upcoming fight, which is September 5th at 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Okay. All right. First up is Cole Smith versus Hunter Azure. And Cole Smith is 7-1. Hunter Azure is 8-1. Not much to say there because I haven't seen. I think I've seen Azure fight, but I don't recall. So that's one of the fights on the card. And then we have Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Alexander Romanov. Now I have seen these guys fight before. Marcos Lima is 17-6-1. Alexander Romanov is 11-0. So, you know, the Russians, they are making a way. They're making a name, following Khabib's footsteps. And 11-0. I'm going to have to go with Alexander Romanov on this one. I think he's got it because he just seems like a really, really strong fighter. I think he's going to do very well. So that's my pick on that one. Next up is Montana De La Rosa. She's 11-5-0 versus Fabiana Arujo, which is, oops, sorry about that. I got to take this call. Let me pause this. We'll send that to, sorry about that. I was waiting for a call. This is Alex. Yes. Sure, that's fine. Will they deliver? Yes, they will deliver for you. Yep, that'll work. Okay, bye. I'm so sorry. I had to take that call, man. Oh my gosh. Next time I turn off my phone. Sorry, my bad. Okay, where were we? Oh, we were talking about Montana De La Rosa, who's 11-5-0 versus Viviana Araujo. She's 8-2. This one is, I'm going to go with De La Rosa because she has a little bit more experience, and I have not seen Viviana fight before, so I'm going to go with somebody that I know. Next up is Martots Fabinski versus Andre Muniz. And these both look like they have a little bit of experience. Bartots Fabinski is 15-3-0, and Andre Muniz is 19-4. I don't know anything about these two guys. Maybe I should start off with just the main card, huh? Anyway, not picking one on that one. Thiago Moses, which is 13-4-0 versus Jalen Turner, 9-5-0. Now, after watching Jalen talk to the media, he has a lot of confidence going in, but it's hard to go against the Brazilian. So I'm going to pick Thiago on this one, and I think he gets it done, but I think it's going to be an exciting fight because I know Jalen wants to go in there and prove his point and make a spot for himself. So it's going to be a great fight, but I'm going with Thiago on this one. Next is Kevin Natividad versus, and he's 9-1-0 versus Brian Kelleher, who is 21-11-0. Now, Brian Kelleher, he is just like a workhorse for the UFC. He has been fighting as often as possible. And in fact, his original opponent fell out. And so Kevin Natividad is a late replacement because I think a COVID-19 positive for his previous opponent. So I'm going to go with Brian, although, you know, he kind of takes a lot of damage. He's a good fighter, very exciting to watch, but he takes a lot of damage. And he's been fighting a lot too. So he's taken, you know, his rest in between fights has been real short, and he's taken a lot of damage. Kevin Natividad, I'm not sure about him. I'm going to stick with Brian Kelleher just because I've seen him fight, and I think he's really exciting. And he does. I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak. So he needs to win this one. So I'm going to give it to him because I think he's going to have a little more urgency. Next up is Michael Pereira versus Zalim Amadeev. And Michael Pereira is 23-11-0, and Zalim Amadeev is 8-2. Now, Michael Pereira, he's the dude that does all of the flips and the fancy stuff, and he's pretty fun to watch, but he's been losing too, and I think he's lost 2 or 3 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got to win this fight. If he doesn't win this fight, in fact, this is the last fight on his contract. So he's got to win it in order to get a new contract, because I think if he loses, the UFC is going to let him go. But he's pretty exciting. He looks good. He looks like a fighter. He's very athletic, very limber. I mean, he's got all the makings of a good fight. I think his only problem is his ego is a little too big for his skill set. And I think he thinks he's a lot better than he is. And that tends to get him in trouble because he shows off a lot, he taunts a lot, and then he usually pays for it. So, but Zalim Amadeev, he's fairly new with 8-2. This is probably his first time in the UFC, I think. So I'm going to go with Michael Pereira because for 2 reasons. He's very athletic, and he's got to win this fight. This is the last fight on his UFC contract, and he really wants to renew his contract. So I think he's going to go out there and put on a show, and he's going to make it really exciting. But he's got to watch the ground game. His jiu-jitsu is pretty good, but his striking and the variety of strikes and kicks and stuff that he does is levels above his jiu-jitsu, in my opinion. And then next up, we have Ovince St. Preux, which is 24-14-0 versus Alonzo Manifield, who is 9-1-0. Now, Alonzo is a physical specimen. I mean, I saw him on the weighing in today, and man, that dude is yoked. He is, you know, he's cut. He doesn't have any body fat, but he's carrying a lot of muscle. And when you carry a lot of muscle, that tends to wear on your gas tank pretty quick. So he's one of these guys that has to get you out of there fairly quick. This is a 3-round fight, and I think that, again, you know, and it's easy to call this. I mean, if it goes 1 round, I'm giving it to Manifield because he's got a lot of power. And if it goes 3 rounds, I'm giving it to St. Preux because he's got a bigger gas tank. He's fought 5-round fights, 3-round fights, and so he's got a lot of minutes in the octagon. But I'm going to give it to St. Preux just because of his experience, and I think he's on a winning streak. I think Alonzo lost his last fight, if I recall correctly. But Ovince St. Preux, I think he won his last fight, and so he's coming off of a win. And I also think that Alonzo was a last minute replacement as well. So that's going to make a big difference depending on if he was in shape, if he had the, you know, if he's been training in the whole time. He looked good. Both of them looked really good on the scales. So neither one of them were drawn out. They all looked good and strong. And so, but I'm still picking Ovince on that one, St. Preux. Okay. And last for the main event is Alistair Overeem versus Augusto Sakai. And Alistair is 46-18-0, and Augusto is 15-1-1. Now, Alistair has tons more experience, obviously, And he's had a roller coaster ride in the UFC. Well, his whole career, he was a pretty good kickboxer. But he's getting a little up there in age, and he's slowing down a little bit. He's still got some pretty powerful kicks, whereas you got Augusto, who's quite a bit younger, I would imagine, than Alistair. But he's greener too. So although he does have 15, 17 fights under his belt, he's no slouch. And he's very tough too. Both of these guys are tough now. Alistair has proven to have kind of I don't want to say a weak chin, but if he gets touched on the chin, he's been known to get knocked out. But he's fighting a lot smarter than he used to. And he's been wearing his opponents down. Now, I think that Alistair, he looked really good on scales today. He looked a little bit more bulked up than I've seen him in the past. And Augusto looked pretty good too. He does carry a little bit of body fat on him around the midsection. Not that that's anything other than additional weight to drain your gas tank. And so I think if Alistair can withstand any barrages from Augusto, I think if he takes it to the ground or if he grapples him against the fence and locks him up against the fence, I see Alistair, because he can throw some good close elbows. I can see him winning this fight. So I am going to pick with the old standby Overeem over Sakai on this one. And do I think it's going to go to a decision? I think it's probably going to go, I don't think it's going to be a submission. I think it's going to be a TKO or decision. I'm going to go with decision. All right, you guys. Well, that's all I have for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Knuckle Sandwich MMA. We'll see you after the fight for the post-fight review. All right, have a good one, you guys. Ciao for now.